Thanks for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and our guest today is Coral Gables candidate Javier Banos. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you once again for having me here.
My pleasure. Let's talk about the results of the election last night.
Okay.
The final day of voting was last night at 7 o'clock, and you're in a runoff. So let's talk about that.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. Yes, once again, Javier Banos. I'm a CPA and an attorney. I've been serving various years in the city pension board. And yesterday we had the vote for mayor and two commissioners for the city of Coral Gables. Vince Lago, who's a great friend and who I consider to be the proper candidate to win, went ahead and won the race. I'm very happy for him. He won with something like 58% of the vote.
In politics, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And Pat, for her supporters, you have to be conscious of that because she was considered their choice. But I think overall, I mean, it's a big mandate.
Both of them served the city for a long time.
Right. They actually exactly the same amount of time because they were elected the same day, both of them. So it was 8 years in total from one point to the other. But it's a moment not to look at what each candidate didn't do. I think it's a moment for reconciliation and for the betterment of the city of Coral Gables. And I think we have a new mayor, and we have to respect that fact. That was a decision of the majority of the voters. And congratulations to him, as it's a well-deserved run that we had. But even though I was on the group 3, I was a top vote getter. Our current rules do require for the voters to come out again and vote a second time for.
How many vote difference was there?
I believe I had 200 votes between my opponent, Kirk Reagan Menendez, and me.
And how many people voted in that race?
Total, actually, it was the biggest turnout Coral Gables has had in nearly 20 years. Over 10,000 voters came out and voted.
Why don't we talk about that? What caused so many people to go out to vote?
I think it's an amalgamation of things. I think it had to do with Lago being on the top of the ticket. I think the mayoral race being a little contentious. One thing you can say about Vince is that he is somebody who's constantly out there helping residents, and that has been, I think, appreciated by a significant number of voters. So it was a big driver on that end, but also my campaign, the campaign of on the group 2, we really went out there and talked to residents, and I think and we it's been knocking on doors and making sure that everybody had a say. And I think there's a discontent within the community for some of the growth that they see, and this was a chance for them to have their voices heard and to essentially let the commission know that that we're not going to take it anymore. That this growth and this development, it's out of scale with the city, and that they do need to be moderated. And this was a big message in that sense.
Well, certainly the news coverage talked about what's happening to the mile. And what about these huge buildings that are going up there? And at the same time, for better or for worse, you had, I've forgotten the name of it, the other development on Lejeune for that is on the south end.
Oh yeah. You're talking about
that one.
Well, I mean, there's a Gable station and that are going up right on US 1, which are a little bit out of scale with the general neighborhood. It's a little large. We have too many Gables birds, cranes everywhere, and generally that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think if they're not consistent with the neighborhood, if the neighborhood is being lost by virtue of all this growth, I think that's where there's a disconnect between the commission and the residents.
So, and even though we're at the end of COVID, but a huge number of people voted absentee.
Absolutely.
So talk about that.
We had absentee voters roughly, this is the first time we've had early voting in the city. And by the way, the second election for the runoff will be on the 27th of April, but there will be early voting on the 24th and 25th, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And it will really be about turning out that vote and getting folks to. So if you accept and want my candidacy, I recommend to all the voters to come out and vote and have your voices heard. So I think if, there's still a lot of work to be done.
So sometimes, obviously, when one of the candidates in one of the other races Well, actually, so many other people that were running. There were 13 candidates altogether.
Correct.
And now there are
We're down to four.
Now there are four.
Right.
So all those people that voted for the other folks, they have to make a decision whether they're going to go out. Not the ones that they're out, but to go vote again. And sometimes people get frustrated and they're annoyed, and the person that they voted for didn't win, and they didn't like the other one. All right. So it's time for people to make a decision if they're going to not vote or to vote for somebody else. All right. That previously they would not vote for.
And there's a degree of apathy, unfortunately, in elections, because either the candidate's not good enough, or the election it was too nasty, or something that happened. Look, I think we have an electorate that's educated. We have an electorate that demands a particular result. I think I trust the voters to make their voices heard. I wish that I was a top vote getter last night. And I wish that would be the end of it, and I'll be Commissioner Banos. But the rules are what the rules are. We live by them, and we need to continue on and go through this runoff process. And anyone who likes what my message is and wants me to be your commissioner, I encourage you to vote, even if I wasn't your first choice. And look, much have been said about the other two opponents, PJ Mitchell and Alex Bucello. Mr. Mitchell did an incredible job in essentially a month that he was involved. He obtained 15% of the vote. That's not a small feat, okay? And he managed it quite effectively. One thing that I respect immensely about PJ, on Sunday night, okay, we had a storm, okay? It was raining cats and dogs, okay, out there. You know who was the only candidate holding an umbrella outside? PJ. Okay, everybody else picked up, including myself, by the way. Okay, it was really hard. I don't think there were many voters coming in. PJ had his umbrella out there, so that is to be lauded and respected. And the same thing about Mr. Bucello. It's a young man. He'll have a bright future, and I'm sure he'll do great things, either getting involved in the city or otherwise. He can do it again. There's nothing that says. Everyone now has a sense of his name.
So tell us about a voter whose guy lost, or whose woman, gal, lady.
In my case, it's all guys.
Okay.
I don't have a choice.
Okay.
In that sense.
Yeah, by the way, in one of the races there were 6 women. No.
I'm not sure if it was 5. So it was. I haven't done the math, but look, Rhonda Anderson is the woman on the other race. She's running against Jose Valdez-Fowley. I think they're both capable candidates. They have divergent views in some things, but similar views in others. They're, Valdez-Fowley voters that are my voters. They're Rhonda Andersons that are my voters. And they both have worked very hard to get to where they are. So I respect them both. I wish them the best of luck. And clearly, I have a preference as a voter who my commissioner would be in Group 2, but I think it's on the hands of the voters of what they're going to pick.
So let's think about the voter that said, okay, I filled out, I voted, my guy lost. All right, why should I go back and vote again for a guy who I couldn't stand before? But my first choice is out, my second choice is out. So now we're down to how many people in your race?
Oh, there are 2.
No, okay. Before there were 4.
There were 4, right?
So my favorite first 2 out. Now I got these 2 guys or these 2 ladies, whatever it happened to be. I need to vote for one of them, because if I don't, the other guy's going to get in, or the woman's going to get in.
Look, ultimately, it's your civic duty, right? It is the thing that if we want the government we deserve, okay, we have to participate. And this is the way we have decided as a collective that we're going to participate, which is to exercise our right to vote. Okay, if I wasn't the first choice for the person, I hope that they do their research and they look at my candidacy and they look at the over 1 year of campaigning that I've done. I hope that message that I put together resonates with them, and I hope to receive their vote. And for whatever reason that doesn't happen, that is their right as a voter. I'm not about to tell anybody here to vote different.
So for the voter that didn't listen to a candidate, but their guy's not in anymore,
right?
All right, and who never listened to what your message was, why don't you tell them now?
Look, my sense is I've been working for 15 years in public life, trying to do what is in the best interest of the residents and the city, and I think That's what you're going to get us with Commissioner Banos. You're going to get somebody who is committed to public service, who's doing it, I believe, for the right reasons, not because I'm going to have a personal gain out of this, and who really, truly wants to, thinks he has something to contribute, and who could do a good job for you. I've, even in my poor little power as a candidate, right, that you get because people pay attention to you, I've managed to put up lights on North Greenway when that was needed, because the neighbor needed it and that wasn't done. So I called FPL. I managed to do it. I managed to make sure that a park that was missing signs were put up. I managed to make sure that garbage was picked up for neighbors who needed it. So everyone who needed something, I've tried to service them. And it is a call to service, and that's what I've tried to do. I think Vince Lago has done a great job on fulfilling that goal, and that's what they will get with the Commissioner Banos, somebody who follows that lead and makes sure the residents are heard.
Now, you're on the pension board for how many years, Coral Gables?
For Coral Gables, I served one term, and then I was here at the pension board in the city of Miami and a few other places. So, pensions have been, by sheer mistake, by the way, this bug bid.
I'm an expert now.
By sheer mistake.
I was a lone CPA on the board, so I had to do it.
So look, numbers is something I understand. It's something that I have a passion for, and I want the books to balance. And there's a lack of balance between what the city can afford, okay, long term, with a bunch of challenges that are coming down our way, and what is being paid into the plan. And we just have to balance that book, ride that ship, and put the seats now so that we don't have this albatross continue to plague our finances for the future. And that is one of my goals as hopefully the future commissioner for the city of Coral Gables.
So, again, how does a voter who's sort of sad today because their guy didn't win, what do they need to feel inside to go vote for you? What is it you're going to bring to the table that their person can't do now?
Look, if you're a voter for PJ Mitchell or Alex Bucello, even a voter for Kurt Menendez, and you believe, the candidate was attractive because he was a young man, because he would change things, he come from a good family, or because the person had been a candidate before. I think that voter would still find appeal in a candidate who's doing this because it is his desire to serve. And I think that will continue to be my theme. That will continue to be my goal. And if you want your commissioner to be somebody who has service-oriented, committed to public service for many, many years, that's what you're going to get with the Commissioner Banos.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left. During this time, would you give out your phone number, your email address, and your website, so if people want to read about you?
Appreciate it. My phone number is 305-519-5581. My website is javierforcoralgables.com. My email is javier@javierforcoralgables.com. And you're free to give me a call, that many folks have done. You're free to email me, as many folks have done.
If you have a pothole in your street, call Mr. Banos. Right?
And I'll be the one to make sure that Public Works and the city manager, everybody else, is attentive, and we can get somebody to actually fix the problem they have. So absolutely, I welcome those calls, even if I'm not your commissioner yet. I can do a little bit for you at this point in time, and hopefully receive their votes.
And it is a pleasure meeting and chatting with you again, and we wish you lots of good luck. And we did endorse you. All right, so
Thank
congratulations.
You very much, Michael.
And it was our pleasure to do that. And I've really got to know you over these last couple months, and we're glad you made it this far. And remember that the sun is shining. All right, and tomorrow morning it's going to be up again. Hopefully,
believe me, it was shining. My skin is a lobster.
Yes. We're going to wrap it up here. Again, this is Javier Banos, our guest. He was a candidate for the City of Coral Gables Commission. You can get early voting. Is going to be on which days? On the
24th and 25th of April, and then the election will be on the 27th. And the absentee ballots will be there Friday. So everyone will get it right away.
Absentee ballot, when you get them, send it in right away. Do not wait, right? Okay. One of the things that I had heard, lots of times people have them by the front door. When candidates are going, they're sitting right there. All right. So make sure when you get it, you vote for the candidate of your choice. We hope that you vote for Javier Banos for the city of
Thank you very
Coral
much.
Gables Commission. Folks, have a great day. Tommy, thank you. And
Thank you,
tomorrow
Tommy.
morning, what time you on with the Marlins? 8:45 right here on Community News Facebook page. All right. You can hear Tommy Stitt. And who else? David Winker. They're going to talk about the Miami Marlins. Folks, have a good day and see you later.
Thank you.